Boxing is in full effect 2025. We just came off a great weekend of fights with Teofimo, David Benavidez, and it's been lit. Great weekend. Boxing 2025 has taken off. I'm back. It took a little couple of days. So, I'm back in full effect to see a lot of material coming out within the next year or a few months. But today we're going to cover, of course, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson breaks. People thought it was fake. Is it real? Dan Rafael says it's real. They're really in negotiations for Cinco de Mayo. I like it. I'm sorry. I like it. Ryan Garcia joins Team Reynoso. And also, Richardson Hitchens and Teofimo Lopez still at it. Can we get the goddamn fight signed? All that after this. Yeah. What it is, man. I'm over here signing in right now, making sure we all lit right now, letting everybody sign in. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Today's Wednesday. I don't know what date it is, but I'm definitely excited to announce everything that's been transpiring. The Benavidez fight was super fire. That happened this week, this Saturday. Boxing has definitely stepped it up, and it is very exciting coming up. My bad, I'm actually tweeting out the show as we speak. Then people come on. I will also be on tonight. People want to call. I think the scroll number should be underneath. Let me put it in the chat real quick so I can see my people, my whatever. But anyways, I'm letting the people come in right now. The Benavidez fight transpired this weekend. I didn't really give my my synopsis, whatever. But Benavidez, listen, he's a monster, man. Watching that fight, it was amazing. You know what I mean? Just watching him. But I do have some things to question still in that fight in regards to, the weight at 175. He looked good, very good. Contrary to what he looked like in the last fight, he looked okay, but did the power transfer? I don't think Benavidez' power is as serious as it is, but his accumulation of punches is. And, he did dominate in the fight, but again, it was another fighter that came up from 160 to 175. No excuses. Benavidez, that guy. Top 10 pound-for-pound fighter in my book. He's been there for the longest. I feel like people don't give him the credit he deserves, and I think he's that guy. And, of course, people want to see what's going to go on next. And I'm going to bring on a special guest on Friday, my man John Iceman Scully, who Mr. Benavidez is looking to possibly fight the fighter and the winner of Better Be versus Before, which my man Iceman Scully does train in Arthur Better Be. But that all is pending on the mega fight that happens in a couple weeks with Better Be Before. So we are getting a lot of great boxing this year so far. A lot of guys are fighting. We got Haney coming back. We got Ryan Garcia coming back. Canelo's Terrence Crawford in September. You know what I mean? So we're getting a lot of big matchups. Riyadh season is in effect. So we are getting some guys to actually take these big fights, and that's major. So I'm super geeked for it. You know what I mean? But there was news that broke recently, and a lot of people it was a mixed reaction. And I got text messages from some of the most annoying fans in the world. Specifically one who's my friend, but this guy is inevitably one of the biggest haters in the world today, especially when it comes to King Canelo. Okay, the news breaks that there's possibly a Canelo Alvarez Jake Paul fight happening. I'm gonna pull this up right here. So today, it was reiterated that Dan Rafael says Paul in negotiations with boxing champ for Cinco de Mayo. And it was met with a lot of harsh criticism from a lot of hardcore fans that want to see, of course, especially after the weekend of the Benavidez performance, Benavidez and Canelo. And, you know, it was met with a lot of critique, a lot of people out there not feeling it or whatnot. And I'm just like, I mean, listen, I get it. We all want to see eventually the Benavidez fight with Canelo. Canelo is has kind of downplayed the situation. Not particularly the biggest fan of Benavidez. Benavidez is taking different shots. Even his father's come out and said F Canelo, and people want to see that, right? Canelo's basically said a lot of different things pertaining David Benavidez. Only brings the weight, doesn't care to fight him. He's been very disrespectful. Benavidez just came back and said, "Oh, I guess I got to be a nicer person." Now listen, I am a Canelo fan. I do want to see that fight. I believe Benavidez should get that fight. Okay, but at this point, it is not, and it's kind of crazy because I feel like when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, the amount of criticism that Canelo gets as opposed to other fighters is ridiculous. He just announced that he's going to fight Terrence Crawford, which he reluctantly did it because he feels like people weren't going to give him the credit, which I still agree with. I don't think people are going to give Canelo the credit in regards to if he beats him. I feel like it's going to say, hey, he's the bigger guy, he should win, all this. I think there's going to be a million excuses when it comes to if Canelo were to defeat Crawford. And on the Crawford side, he has everything to gain in the situation where people are like, oh my God, if Crawford wins, this is the biggest win of his career. So it's kind of lopsided in regards to how people view the situation. So immediately, you already see how people are reacting to the Canelo Crawford fight, and it's kind of exactly what Canelo stated. And I said the same thing. It's a huge win for Bud, but nobody's saying it would be a big win for Canelo. I think that's been Canelo's biggest issue with the situation, and I tend to agree with him that he will not get credit for beating Bud Crawford. And I think Bud Crawford is a hell of a fighter. You know what I mean? But Bud isn't a win-win situation. Regardless, Canelo gave us the fight. Canelo said, you know what? The situation's right. Let's make it happen. And he's still going to give us a fight in May. And Bud, apparently, from my understanding, is going to wait all the way to September to fight Canelo. He's going to be 180%. His weight is going to be up there. It's going to be dope. The fight's going to take place at 168. Boom. I bring that up to bring up this. The fact that people continue to criticize Canelo for whatever he does is wild. And this Canelo Paul thing is one of the biggest examples. People have been clamoring for Jake Paul to fight an actual fighter. Jake Paul has repeatedly, on numerous situations, called out Canelo. And Canelo has been like, whatever. And one reporter particularly asked him, and he said, people would be happy if you knocked him out. And Canelo smiled and said, yeah, maybe that's true. Listen, Canelo, I think, is 35 right now, right? Something's like about 35, right? Or still 34, 35, whatever it is. He's at the tail end of his career where he is gathering the biggest checks possible. And Jake Paul happens to be one of the biggest checks that he could obtain. Now, people may argue Benavidez is the bigger fight. But is it? Does Benavidez sell as much as Jake Paul? Is the intrigue of Canelo and Jake Paul fighting the first time somebody that people are like, yo, Jake Paul is going to lose bad? Is that bigger than Benavidez? I believe so. I mean, Netflix just paid an arm and a leg to see a washed-up Tyson. What do you think the public, especially fans that want to see kind of Jake Paul punished in these situations, people that feel like he's taking advantage, I think it's going to be huge. I think this is one of the biggest fights ever. So Canelo is kind of leaving with getting the biggest bags, period. Now, I do believe Benavidez would be a big bag, but I do not believe it's a bigger bag than Crawford, nor do I believe it's a bigger bag than a Jake Paul situation, especially on Cinco de Mayo. Listen, whether you like Jake Paul or not, guys, it is a huge event. Every boxer, every athlete that puts on the gloves right now would definitely trade places with Canelo for this fight. I mean, we're probably looking at the upwards of, and again, I don't know numbers, but I'm thinking Canelo's going to get close to over 100 million for this fight. For somebody who, in my opinion, he's going to beat the brakes off of. And not only that, it's the exposure. I mean, I don't know where it's going to take place. I'm gonna take a guess and say maybe Texas or something like that. But you can't take away the fact that Canelo and Jake Paul is a huge match, and Jake Paul is a huge superstar in boxing. Regardless, I mean, and I mean, what does he have? 22 million people on social media. He has this. So to me, I think it's a major win for Canelo. I'm not mad at seeing it in May, especially when we're getting Bud Crawford in September. And again, I think coming off the heels of Canelo versus, I mean, a Benavidez fight that we just saw, I feel like people want to see that. But there's other fights to be made that are huge, and then especially for Benavidez, that fight with Beterbiev and Bivol. I don't want people to think that Beterbiev is just gonna walk through him. Hassan, what up? Do you think it's good for the sport of boxing, though, considering Canelo holding up the division? I mean, Hassan, how is he holding up the division? Because he's fought everyone that's in 168 except for Benavidez, and Benavidez is at 175. So how is he holding up the division when he's actually defending them, the belts that he does have against Terrence Crawford in September? I don't think he's holding up the division at all. Outside of William Skull and outside of Benavidez, who fights now at 175, I don't see how he would be holding up the division. And again, Hassan, listen, and this is how I feel personally about the situation. Canelo gets a lot of criticism. Some of it is warranted, absolutely. Salute, mailman. Some of it is absolutely warranted, right? But at the same time, there are other athletes in boxing that haven't done 10% of what Canelo Alvarez has done and continue to get pass after pass after pass, and nobody says anything about that. Canelo unifies at 168. He goes back and fights Triple G. He fights him 3 times. He's fought guys, Shane Mosley, he's fought, I mean, his resume is second to none. But the Benavidez situation continues to be the black cloud over his head. And I feel like people, yes, want to see that fight. I want to see that fight. But at the same time, for whatever reason, Canelo doesn't like the individual. He feels as if the man is disrespectful, and Canelo deals with that. And let's speak about that, okay? Let's speak about how Canelo feels about the respect situation. Anybody that fights Canelo Alvarez right now, it's a huge come up, right? So it is an honor to fight Canelo, and some people may downplay it or whatnot, but if you fight Canelo Alvarez, you're gonna get the biggest bag you've gotten in your career. So Canelo's like, yo, even if I don't like this guy, why would I want to help him? So if whoever Canelo takes, he's gonna help them in regards to becoming a superstar. Let's just say Benavidez goes out and defeats him, okay? Let's just say that. He defeats the biggest superstar in the sport. In turn, gives him the biggest name, and he can now propel to other levels. And I think Canelo, and not saying I don't think Canelo is scared or nothing like that to lose, but Canelo's like, yo, that's me doing a favor for you in a sense. I don't have to do that for you. I've went through the gauntlet. I've done everything I had to do. And I don't tolerate the disrespect. And I think it has more to do with putting Benavidez in a situation that he believes that he doesn't want to help him get in. So to me, it's whatever. And in regards to this Jake Paul situation, listen, I've watched all of Jake Paul's fights, and everybody says all the time they want to see him fight a real boxer. They want to see him lose. And again, you know, he's a big man, right? But still, we all believe that Canelo's gonna beat the brakes off him, and I do too. So that's how I feel. That's how I said it's just sad that he ducked Benavidez and held him up, but took the Jake Paul fight in a heartbeat. And his excuse for not taking the Benavidez fight. Sorry about that. I hate when people fucking call me when I'm on the fucking show. Like, it's just. I'm sorry about that. So hold on. Excuse for not taking the Benavidez fight was disrespect, but Jake showed the same disrespect. I don't think Jake has been as disrespectful. I mean, we all know Jake's character. We all know that. I don't think, and I'm gonna say this. I don't think Jake is as disrespectful as to Canelo as whatever. But at the same time, Hassan, you gotta look at it like that. Jake is a way bigger bag as well. Like, Jake is a bigger bag than a Benavidez fight. Whether you like Benavidez or not, Benavidez is not a big seller like that, okay? The fight that he just fought with Morrell didn't sell out. I don't know the numbers in terms of pay-per-view, but he's not at a level of a Jake Paul. And Canelo looks like this. If I'm going to beat this guy, I might as well get on my checks now. This is what I'm going to call the farewell Canelo tour. I think Canelo does these two fights, and then I think 2026 is his last year. And that's just being honest. I think Canelo is right now saying, you know what, I mean, guys, he's still giving us a Terence Crawford fight that a lot of people want to see. He's still giving us that. So to me, I don't want to rule out Benavidez, to be perfectly honest with you. I do believe that fight may happen in 2026, especially if Benavidez is successful in defeating Dimitri Bivol or Arthur Beterbiev. And now if he's able to do that, that now brings up his profile, because now Canelo can make history and say, hey, you know what? Let's go out and let me unify 175 and have both situations and then retire. I think that's kind of Canelo's thinking in a sense. And you know, I think a lot of people don't believe that, you know, and again, this is based on what he's been, what Benavidez has been able to do to these lesser opponents. That's not Canelo. And you know, Canelo's IQ is a lot higher than the guys that he has beaten in regards to, you know, morale and stuff like that. So to me, I get it. But, you know, Canelo's going to do what he does, man. I still believe that fight may happen. But that's pending on if David Benavidez is successful beating these two guys at 175, which I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be tough, especially the fact that when he did do his first fight at 175, he was not able to push that individual back like that. And those guys, that guy was nowhere near a Beterbiev or a Bivol. So I would like to see that fight. And again, and another thing, listen, that's a big fight. Beterbiev versus Benavidez is a big fight, but will he be able to do what he did to Morrell to this individual? This man is going to keep going forward, so it's going to be real tough, to be honest with you. But I do believe if we do want to see Canelo versus Benavidez, that it will be pending on what he does in regards to the Beterbiev Bivol. If he's able to defeat those individuals, then I do believe that fight will happen. But in the meantime, I'm pretty freaking excited to see a Jake Paul versus Canelo. I mean, the first text message I got from my guy Jesse Reekin, the #1 hater of Canelo. Anything Canelo does, he didn't do this. He's running. He's that. Like, I've never seen this man give this guy credit. A lot of people want to see Canelo lose. They don't appreciate the greatness of what he's accomplished. But I think a lot of people feel like that about Jake Paul, and I think Canelo's looking at this as making himself a hero as well to boxing. Hassan said, so it's not about the disrespect, it's about the bag, which is cool, but at least be honest about it. That's why fans don't trust him, and his PED issue will always stay in his legacy. I don't think it will. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been caught on PEDs, stuff like that. I don't think that will at all. I think the fact that he's not an American, Hassan, to be honest with you, pisses people off, and he is the face of boxing. I think Americans want an American champion. The same way Americans don't respect the heavyweight division because the heavyweight division isn't run by Americans. That's just the real. That's just me being real. He's the only individual in boxing that receives this type of criticism. We've watched Gervonta Davis continue to duck competition at 135 when he had everyone at 135 and nobody says a thing. Oh, Tank, he's a natural 35-pound fighter. I see everyone always making excuses. Nobody does that for Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Benavidez and Morrell will see each other again. I don't think so, man. I don't believe that fight will happen. To be honest, all athletes are on something. Listen, we can allege what we want to allege, but the one thing we can't allege is the fact that we can see is the criticism going both ways. But I think Canelo looks at it as almost becoming a superhero as well, beating Jake Paul the way a lot of people want to see Jake Paul lose. And the bag, we're probably talking about guaranteed. Without pay-per-view, he's probably seeing over 100-something million easily. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous what he's about to see. And we all know Canelo controls the gates and those things. So to me, man, getting a Jake Paul fight, I really believe with these two fights coming up between Canelo and Jake Paul and Canelo and Bud Crawford, we're probably looking at Canelo making close to $500 million this year. How do you turn that down when you're fighting Jake Paul, who's arguably one of the biggest names forget boxing, in the world right now? You know what I mean? So to me, if people were excited to see Mike Tyson, we're actually gonna see and be sold someone who's a unified champion today in Canelo Alvarez. And there's gonna be a lot of people, believe it or not, that are gonna say that Canelo will lose that fight, that Jake Paul is just too big. That's a lot of people are gonna say that he's too big, he's too strong. How is Canelo gonna do this? And I feel like that is what's gonna sell Cinco de Mayo. I think it's gonna be one of the biggest events in the history of boxing, for many reasons. There's gonna be some people believe that Canelo is just too small, and then there's gonna be a lot of fans gonna be like, "Yo, I want to see Jake Paul out of here." So we're gonna get multiple elements that people have been wanting to see for years. And I think Canelo is going to cash out something crazy. I believe between these two fights this year, he is going to be close to a billionaire. Remember, says Canelo's going to cash out and bow out. Salute to him. I think he cashes out. Then I think 2026 he'll take one or two major fights, and I believe one of them will be Benavidez. Hassan says, he's responding to the mailman. It is otherwise you could. Well, otherwise you would have proved it, but I don't know what he's talking about. Listen, man, boxing is in good hands right now. I am one of the few that is not upset about this Canelo versus Jake Paul. There are a lot of people, and most of them that are hating are Canelo haters. Like, if let's just say in a weird way, right? Let's just say if Gervonta Davis got this fight, right? People would be going crazy. Oh, Gervonta's going to do this. He wouldn't receive nowhere near the criticism Canelo would be getting for taking this fight. And I just feel like that's where we're at in society in regards to how people feel about Canelo. And in my opinion, I just think that it's amazing to me. Norbs, who you got, Canelo versus Bud? Do you think it's dangerous for Bud? Oh, absolutely it's dangerous for Bud. This is by far the best fighter he's ever fought. It's not just the weight. I think people keep bringing up the weight. Canelo and Bud aren't much different in size, okay? But Canelo does fight the bigger competition. He's used to being in that weight and getting punched on by guys at that weight, okay? Canelo's knockouts haven't been as consistent at 168, but he still translates in regards to power. He can put you out, right? Bud has never fought at that weight, right? He's never fought a fighter as skilled as Canelo. I think that's where we get lost in translation in regards to talent. This is not only the biggest guy Bud Crawford is fighting. This is the most talented individual Bud has ever fought. Period. Now, people, of course, are going to say, oh, but look what Floyd did to Canelo. That was a 22-year-old Canelo. That was Floyd Mayweather. Let's get that out. And Floyd and Bud do not fight the same. They don't. So, yes, Hassan, it is a huge, huge fight for Bud. I think Bud has everything to gain in the situation. I do actually tend to agree with Canelo. Was like, yo, I'm not going to get credit for beating Bud Crawford. People are going to critique him regardless, but he gets critiqued for everything else. So to me, I think people make the big thing of the size, but this is the best fighter, period, that Bud Crawford is fought. And I think people tend to forget that. People just continue to, the size. And the way some of these individuals talk about Canelo, he's just flat-footed and he's this. And I'm sitting here like, what? And they're just some of the most respected people in the world. Listen, Canelo's a great fighter. This is not just any old fighter. He's been on the top pound-for-pound list for like almost 20 years. Like, guys, he's arguably number one. and Hassan, I'm with you. Like, I don't think people understand how big of a fight this is for Bud Crawford. And then also the sense, I think the pressure that people are going to put on Canelo to stop Crawford and dominate him, I think that's going to be something like Canelo's not going to go in there to go to decision. He's going to put the pressure on. He's going to want to put the pressure. How does Bud Crawford keep him off of him? And listen, Canelo is not the same Canelo when he fought Floyd. Canelo has become a better counterpuncher. He's become a better defensive fighter. This is the best all-around fighter that Bud Crawford has fought, and all people keep bringing up is the size. No, Canelo is like that. He really is. And it's just it's disgusting how people disrespect Canelo Alvarez. And listen, I give all the respect to Bud. I've called this from the beginning. I said this fight will happen. This is the only fight that Bud wants. Why? Because he will have generational wealth. I mean, Bud is a very intelligent man. He's very smart. But he knows one fight with Canelo and 15 fights at 154 don't equate in terms of monetary gain. So, I'm happy for Bud Crawford. I definitely am. And again, tough is an underestimation. Like, Canelo is going to go in there to prove a point. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, who is Canelo? Who on Bud's resume equates to Canelo? It's not one person. Not one. Nobody's accomplished as much. Nobody's more skilled than Canelo. No one's more powerful than what Canelo is. This is a huge challenge for Bud Crawford, and you got to take your hat off. Bud, this would be Bud's biggest win of his career, by far. It will not be Canelo's biggest win of his career, but this will be Bud's. And that's just the facts. And there's no hate, because I'm a fan of Bud Crawford. I think Bud is he's phenomenal. You know what I mean? Bud is what it is. I got a lot of respect for Bud, but I think people need to stop downplaying how dangerous Canelo is. Like, I've seen Timothy Bradley. I've seen people it's always negative. But he's doing this. I'm like, bro, this is a big challenge. I mean, it's a big challenge for both. I mean, Bud is not going to be an easy out because Bud is smart. I think Bud is very strong. Bud is just a great fighter. You know what I mean? So to me, I think people really don't understand how big of a challenge this is for Bud. Like, people act like Canelo's just a regular guy. Hold on one second, yo. Yeah, this is your boy Norbs, and you are live on the show. This is my man Killer Troy. Hamza, what's up?
Man, what's good, baby? My bad I couldn't get on there with you today. We had a little power outage in the bay from the storm. we getting it together. But I still got to call in and kick it with my man Norbs real quick.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. You know, it's funny. I was just talking about somebody just asked a question. My man, shout out to my man Hassan in the chat, and he was like, "What do you ask?" He said, how dangerous is Canelo as an opponent?" And I sat there and I was like, for Crawford, and I'm like, what pisses me off, Troy, is this, and you're a technical guy. There is not one person, right, that Bud has fought that has been on the level of Canelo. I don't think people understand, like, it's not just the size. Canelo's a great fighter. He's an all-time great. Like,
Yeah, I think this is, well, I don't think, well, what I would say to support that is they don't understand the skill set of Canelo.
yeah.
They just like, well, he don't throw that many punches. He don't do this. That means you don't understand boxing. And they don't understand that the fact that Canelo has knocked out a man, he's dropped almost every man upwards of 68 pounds and 170 pounds, 75 pounds after rehydration.
Yep.
Shows you that he has legitimate crack.
Yep.
He has cocaine in his knuckles.
Yeah.
You got to be careful, bro. And Bud is a good fighter.
Yeah.
And his mind, he's probably thinking, well, Floyd beating, he's shorter. You know, I'm taller. I can be his weight, but you can't knock out the guys he knocked out.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
But you know what's crazy to me too? Shout out to my guy, the Hangout Spot. What's good, brother? It's not like when Roy Jones went and fought Ruiz, right? Ruiz was a champion, but Ruiz wasn't on anybody's top pound for pound list. Canelo's
he wasn't the top heavyweight guy of that era.
No, he wasn't. Bud is going up 14 pounds, right? Actually, let's be real. He's going up almost 20 pounds because he's really coming up from 147, right? To fight somebody who's been in the pound for pound list for probably over almost 20 years. Like, this is not just a regular fighter. It's not just a size.
It's not just any Joe Schmo nigga.
Yeah, like, the guy can punch. The guy has gotten better since Floyd. The guy can defend. The guy can counter. The guy can cut the ring. What is Bud Crawford going to do? Because I don't believe Bud is going to be on the front foot. I believe he's going to be on the back foot the whole fight. Can he continue that? And what is he going to do to really show respect, to get Canelo to show respect? He can't do what Floyd Mayweather does. Only Floyd can do what Floyd can do. I need people to understand that. Floyd and Bud do not fight similar at all, in my opinion. I mean, you tell me, am I tripping?
No, and that's why Bud is trying to talk to Floyd about what's going on. Hold on one second.
Yeah. He said he's too slow for Crawford. I mean, guys, like Crawford is lightning speed. He doesn't even fight like that. Bud is a great counterpuncher. He's a great fighter. He's got a high IQ. He doesn't fight anything like what actually, gives Canelo problems, in my opinion. But yeah, Troy, you were saying?
I said I was going to make sure you could hear me clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Bud was going to Canelo. Going to Floyd.
Yeah.
So he can learn how to fight behind the shoulder. The only guys that could beat Canelo are guys who are able to fight behind the shoulder. So, example, the style of a James Toney, the style of a Henry Armstrong, of a Sugar Ray Robinson. Anybody who know how to fight behind the shoulder is not necessarily the shell. It's the way you stand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And because Canelo comes to you a little more square. But that's the thing. Even in that, you haven't done the reps Floyd done. So it's still going to be difficult because you have to master that type of defense, bro. Yeah. See, that's what people don't understand. Like, Floyd's dad in the fight literally said, "Why do you keep jumping out? Stay in there." And then Floyd said, "Man, just go." Floyd Sr. said, "Just cover up in the shell and just come to him and let him punch himself out." Mm-hmm. Because if you watch the fight, he said, "Man, he's going to punch himself out." You don't think Canelo has watched that shit?
Yeah.
And said, "Oh, I punched myself out because I was overzealous in the first 6 rounds. So you watch his fights now, and this is bars because I'm realizing as I'm speaking it to you. He watched that tape and realized I got to learn how to use my jab and correct my defense. So in the first 6 rounds, I could use that to break a man down, collect data, and in the second half of the fight, I could blow his pack.
But you know what's funny, and I think nobody's thinking about this, right? And this is something that I really want to make a point. I want to drill this home to the fans. You don't think Canelo thinks about the Floyd Mayweather fight all the time? How people continually, Floyd beat you, Floyd brings it up. You don't think in the back of his mind that he's like, you know what? I'm going to fix my wrongs, what happened with Floyd against Bud. And I believe that's gonna live in his head until this fight happens.
He was fixing him before he fought Floyd because he fought Austin Trout before he fought Floyd.
Yep.
And in the Austin Trout fight, he was crazy slick. And Austin Trout was like, I thought he was different. I thought he not the guy we prepared for. And that's what it kind of messed me up. Because I'm like, what is he saying? He don't realize, and he was saying that I didn't realize the nigga had D. Pause.
Yeah, facts. But
I didn't realize he was slick like that. I didn't realize he was going to be slipping and sliding and hitting me with counters, and he was hurting me. And that's when Floyd was telling Crawford, "Hey, bro, that's a big motherfucker, bro. He can fight, he can punch. You better be ready."
But you know what's crazy though too? The Canelo that fought Floyd is not the Canelo that's gonna fight.
No, it's not.
Crawford. And I think people don't understand. Like people underrate Canelo's speed, his intelligence, his defense. Like I'm sitting here like he's just a big lug that just knocks people out. Like no, bro. Like Canelo is really smart. I mean, you.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna 100 with you on the platform. That's not. I'm not saying that's not it. What I'm gonna say is, mostly people be in their emotions because whether it be he black, whether it be they like where he's from, they have their prejudices. So they'll rather down a man's talent to build their fighter that they like, their home team, off the fact that they're insecure of the size, skill, and all of that. And I love my nigga Bud.
Me too.
But of course he's gonna try to win, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work like that.
No, listen, I think
it just doesn't.
And I think people don't understand too. This is another thing. Bud has never seen anything like Canelo in his career. I'm sorry, guys. He has never seen nothing like Canelo.
Never seen it.
Never. And I mean, power to. I mean, guys, this is something new. This is a huge challenge for Bud. And people just feel like, oh, he could just emulate Floyd. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. Nobody can emulate Floyd.
To emulate Floyd, I mean, what they're saying is do Floyd's defense because you black.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. I'm literally saying the truth.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work like that. Like, do what Floyd did. You black like Floyd. No. You have to learn. Put it like this. Jake LaMotta could beat Terrence Crawford because he could fight behind the shoulder. He's a middleweight. He's a huger guy. I mean, like, short and stocky. Jake LaMotta had the style like Canelo. Come forward, work behind the jab, good hooks to the body, check hook range. You have to be prepared for that shit, bro. And Terrence Crawford, like you said, has never fought that. He's never fought a 5'8", 168-pounder with supreme defense.
And supreme talent, yeah. And people don't
he never fought that.
Canelo is a great body puncher. He's a great body puncher, guys. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, Canelo, if he can't get to your D, he's going to tear up your arms. Bro, he dislocated, was it Caleb Smith, his name? His bicep. Like, Canelo is going to, listen, if anything, Bud is going to walk out of that fight extremely in pain, even through a win. He's not knocking out Canelo Alvarez. He's going to have to take a lot of shots. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Canelo is going to be in the best shape of his life. He will be.
Best shape.
He's going to be. He's not going to make
those mistakes. Trying to lose. He's not trying to lose, period.
No, he's not, bro. And I feel like Canelo gets criticized so quick because, you know, I was actually starting this conversation with the Jake Paul stuff, and I was like, bro, I actually look forward to it, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I look forward to it because a lot of people want to see Jake Paul fight a real fighter, right? And they want to see him get hurt. And Canelo is kind of that guy that can really, really hurt him. Like, for real.
Yeah.
I
He
want to
can
see
really
it.
stop you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not a good look like everybody think it is for that payday.
No. And, bro, think about this for a second. I think, and this is my prediction, between Canelo fighting Crawford and Jake Paul, he's probably going to pull in close to like $500 million this year. That's insane.
No, listen, if he fight Bud, he's literally making damn near 250 to 300.
100%.
If he fights Jake Paul, he's making 300 to 350.
Bro, we're talking about possibly becoming a billionaire this year. Hold on. My man Mailman says, Norbs, ask Chivo what he thought of the Carmel Moten's last fight.
I thought he fought a good, tough opponent to help him grow and succeed to the next step of his career. At this stage in your career, you're fighting good journeymen, ex-world champions, and then you're taking some tough fights. Then you're stepping back off the tough fight.
Yeah.
Then you're taking some easy fights. You have to keep recalibrating your style and doing different things, and then your style will actually get better off the opponents you fight. That's another people don't understand about the Canelo situation.
Mm-hmm.
He has a who's who on his list. So when you have that, how do you think you get good? By the people you fight and the challenges you overcome. So Carmel is doing some of the same things. It's just taking his time. He's with Floyd. You know, he's the kid that you seen Floyd Mayweather, the senior, doing the mitts with, and he like a little light-skinned kid, and he catching him, and he doing, it's a video out there. It's like a little Carmel Moen.
Yeah,
and I'm like, damn, I didn't even know that was him.
Yeah.
Like, so you just, at this point, you just got to be patient with the kid.
Yeah. Well, let's move forward over Canelo. I love, you know, I could talk Canelo all day, but this was very interesting. This was very interesting. Ryan Garcia is back with trainer Eddie Reynoso, which means
I knew it.
I mean, listen. I'm gonna talk to my man that know the technical shit. How big of a decision of a move is this for Ryan Garcia? How beneficial is it?
First, it's beneficial to his children, to his trust, to Oscar, to the business, because they really train over there. Yeah. So Tio's over there too. So you got two Leo niggas over there. Automatically, that kind of cancels that fight out. So that lets you know one thing, he's trying to maneuver a certain way. Secondly, he's going to get the best training and the best sparring, because he could spar Tio for, that's even perfect, because Ryan could spar Tio for Richard Hitchens, and Tio could spar, and Ryan could spar Tio for Rolly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a good look. You know, they teach good things. They call me Reynoso. So
that's hilarious. Reynoso is pretty good.
They call me Reynoso. So, you know, I'm in full support of the move.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. My biggest critique of Ryan Garcia was his lack of discipline. I felt like when he left that camp, he kind of lost his mind, he lost his way, and showed a lot of bad tactics in the ring. And again, I'm not a technical guy, but Troy is. I felt like even when he fought, Tank, and even the fight before that, he had his chin up in the air. You know, he was just pretty much going on ability and not the things that he was taught. And I think this Reynoso thing is I think this Reynoso move is absolutely. Now I literally give Devin Haney no shot to beat him. Zero.
No, I don't. That's what I said. Like, I don't give him no. And that's one of the things why he taking that route. Because he like, well, no, I can't give these guys no chance to beat me, because if I don't get the right coaching, the right situation, they can hurt my pockets like I hurt their pockets.
Yeah.
So now he really tuned in. And I realized that sometimes I'll use Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran turned professional at 15. So you got to think, once he hit the American or the United States TV, he started making millions by his 20s. you can't control a man from Panama. He's a literal American, and he's in the States. You're not going to be able to control him with $1 million. And that's why in the documentary and the movie he needed to fight and he needed time off.
Yeah.
So he can get his demons out from being disciplined. What Ryan he was trying to have demons while he was boxing. That doesn't play at Troy Noso's or Eddie Reynoso. So he going to get that together off rip. And it's a good look, man. It's a great look.
You know what's crazy? I wouldn't.
And he can learn Spanish. He can learn Spanish while you're there.
You know what's funny that I didn't give him much chance in the rematch against Gervonta Davis, but when Reynoso there, I feel like I give him more of a chance now.
It's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a major move. Just being under Canelo, working with him, and even Teofimo, what you said. Teofimo even said, he's like, yo, it's a different world over here. They really work. You know what I mean? And,
they're not. Listen, bro. You can't stay pound for pound if you're not really working. So I don't know what. Like, see, that's the difference between having a real team of professionals and then just having your dad who never really did the shit, bro.
Yeah.
The shit you doing is different day to day.
Yeah. And you know what's I think something that nobody's thinking about is that Canelo is laying the foundation for his retirement. This is why he's taking.
No, facts. Because he's getting Ryan, Tito.
Yep.
Like, no, that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's fighting Jake Paul. He's fighting. He's getting the checks and he's setting up his future. I think Canelo Promotions is going to be huge moving forward, and they're getting some of the biggest stars.
He's going to be the next golden boy, but he don't fucking play.
Nah, he don't. And yeah.
It's crazy how we watched a nigga grow up right in front of our eyes, bro.
Yeah,
like, we really watched him being drunk by Cotto's brother to becoming a fucking promotion. It's no different from Oscar.
Yeah.
Shit crazy.
Yeah, and listen, I don't think people understand, like, that's a good camp. They're really smart. They get money. They got power. I mean, listen, man.
They got good leverage. They got the greatest leverage.
I believe that Ryan is going to knock Rolly out very early. I think he's gonna. And listen, if the Devin fight goes through in October, because he does have a fight in May, right? I think he actually stops Devin this time. I think worse.
No, she stopped him the first time.
Yeah.
He definitely gonna bust his pack. So it really ain't gonna make no difference.
Yeah, I think it's a major move for Ryan. I'm very happy for Ryan Garcia. I mean, it's scary. Listen, the one thing about Ryan Garcia, again, I'm gonna repeat this, is you can't doubt his talent. You can't.
Yeah, you can.
You can't. It's more so his discipline. And now that he's with a disciplined kid, and I think he understood that. I think he missed being under Canelo. You know what I'm saying? And I think he realized it. Like, yo, nah, I really have to go back to what brought me here. And bro, I'm not going to lie. I think Ryan's going to have a mega 2025 going into 2026, man. That's how I feel.
Shit, he had one last year, like, even with the Devin fight. No, shit, how much did Devin make? And Ryan, like, how much did they make reported publicly? Like, that nigga Ryan been having good. That nigga Ben said he 30 million in already. Like,
no, facts.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's crazy work, bro. And be in your mid-20s.
And you know what I think? Also, with working with Canelo, your business acumen, you can't really play with his camp. Canelo has been in different wars with bidding wars, and he knows the business.
Shit, he had a bidding war over his family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, you can't really break that. He really been out here in these streets.
Nah, absolutely, man. I look forward to seeing that. One more, check this. I'm going to play this video. We spoke about Teofimo Lopez. I don't know what the hell's going on with a Teo fight, but him and Hitchens continue to go out. And look at this. This is the last thing he posted. It was yesterday.
Man, what kind of bitch shit is that? I'm going to tell you like this, bro. Like, you either going to fight me because you say you're going to beat me, or you don't fight me at all, you punk bitch. Like, how you going to go and talk about all this madness about me, and how you going to box me and beat the bricks off of me? Bro, man, I fought Lomachenko for $1.3 million. Whoop that ass. Yeah, same goes and applies for Josh Taylor. Whoop that ass. Same applies for Richard Coleman, IBF world champion for $800K. Whoop that ass. What are you talking about, yo? Talking about sending a contract with the right numbers. Shut that shit up, man. You just a pussy. Man, what kind
of... Teofimo Lopez, Richard Hitchens going back and forth. Richard Hitchens is a good fighter. I like Richard Hitchens. I think Teofimo is a different type of talent. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion.
Facts.
I just want to see the fight happen. I want to see Teofimo back in the ring. I don't know what the hell is the delay at this point. But
yeah, niggas is not trying. He the real boogeyman of this bitch. You about to get in there with a damn near 2-time undisputed fighter.
Yeah.
Wasn't he undisputed?
Who?
Or he had 3 belts.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
I don't think he was undisputed, Richards. But you're talking about when he fought Josh Taylor.
Tito.
Yeah, when Tito fought Josh Taylor, you're talking about.
Yeah. That's the undisputed champion, bro. You don't want to. That's not an easy fight.
Yeah, he's the lineal.
You're the lineal. Whatever. He that's not like something you're gonna take serious. Like you're gonna take lightly. You watch this man fight better competition than you.
Yeah.
See, this is what people don't understand. Like, Josh Taylor is not a joke.
Nope.
If you think you can beat him, you would have beat him already.
Yep.
Teofimo said he could beat him, so he got in there. Lomachenko, he said he could beat him. Devin said he could beat him. Like, you got to get in there. All that talking ain't going to mean shit. Because once they pull that bluff and send that contract, Africa, your ass better come up to America. Nigga, you're in Brooklyn. Yeah. Get your shit together, bro. We not trying to hear this shit.
And you know what's crazy? Teal didn't just beat Josh Taylor. He beat the brakes off of Josh Taylor.
He beat the brakes off, cuz. The brakes, that means he did not stop.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think people, you know, and it's another person that receives a lot of criticism. But in my head, I'm like, bro, like, critique Teal all you want, the stupid comments or whatnot. But in that ring, between them ropes, in that squared circle, Teal is a bad man, bro. Like, he really liked that, bro. Like, I don't think people understand how good he is. And another person that's now being trained by Reynoso. What did we say before about him? We don't like the fact that his father's his trainer. We want him to see him with better trainers. We want to see the discipline. Another person that we believe, if he got the right training, Troy, we've been saying this for over a year, right? If he got the right discipline, he would be very difficult to beat. And what happens? Now he's with Reynoso. Now he has that. The next Tio we see is going to be super, super dangerous. I'm talking about like,
he's gonna be way different.
I believe so too. And if it is Richardson Hitchens, if I'm Hitchens right now,
he's damn near gonna get stopped or beat up. He can't take no pressure.
Yeah, no, listen. Even when he fought Paro, if you look at the beginning of the rounds, he was having trouble. Paro is not Teofimo. He's not. He is not. Teofimo can close the show. Teofimo is very athletic.
Teofimo has the quickest first step in boxing, so he can close the distance in a blink and knock you out, period. So you got to be on your jaw. Like, if you're not on your jaw, you gone.
Yeah, I want to – I mean, you know what's crazy? I wanted to see the Sabril fight for me, to be honest with you. But, you know, Hitchens is talking. I think right now he's trying to figure out what's the best financial fight. But also I feel like a lot of people don't want to get in the ring with Teofimo. They just don't. You know what I mean?
No, they don't. Nigga, they done seen Josh. Like, they done seen what he's done. Like, that's what I be saying about Tank. Like, you could say what you want.
Yeah.
But when it's time to actually get in the ring, you're going to be thinking about, well, damn, he do kind of punch. Like, see, that's something that the boxers never tell us. Like, how was his punching power? They never really just say it. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, he got a punch. No, nigga. You watched him knock out everybody. He's a puncher. Shit. You got in there, and you seen how he was knocking niggas out, and it made you reluctant to do some shit.
He's a puncher. He's very athletic. And this is another guy that I believe has been successful because of his sheer talent. And I believe he lacked a lot of discipline. And now that he's with a camp that's going to teach him the fundamentals of what he needs to know, it's scary. It's like when Shaq finally got with Phil Jackson. Once Shaq got with Phil Jackson, they were unbeatable. Let's be real.
Unbeatable. Yeah, especially when Kobe developed, it was over.
Yeah, and I think people underestimate coaching and teaching in boxing because it is an individual sport. But, you know, having a good corner is major, especially someone to teach you what you need to know and be real with you. And that's something that, Teofimo was struggling with early in his career. I don't think he loses to Kambosos if he has Reynoso in his corner. I don't. I think he stops Kambosos. So
clearly, he'll stop Kambosos
yeah,
with dude in his corner because he won't have his lungs won't be blew out like they were or whatever was going on medically with him that he never told nobody about. And that's why you just don't take them fights like when you injured.
Yeah, facts. I mean, listen, I'm loving what I'm seeing right now in regards to these two individuals. Hold on, the mailman says, I'm a Teal fan. Hitchens is a tough matchup. Hitchens has a really good jab, and he's getting better every fight. I still lean towards Teal, but I wouldn't be surprised. Hitchens is a very good boxer, but I feel like, you need a little more than just the jab to keep Teal off of you. Teal is very athletic. Teal can punch from different angles. Bro, I seen Teal land a leaping uppercut, dog. From I've never seen that shit.
Judas shit.
Yeah, like
Judas shit.
I've never. You know what made Manny Pacquiao great is his awkwardness, his
orthodox.
angles. Yeah, and that's something that Teofimo possesses. He can punch you from so many different angles, and I think sometimes you need to step out the box in order to confuse some of these very, very skilled fighters that are very robotic. And I think Hitchens is a good fighter, but he's set in his ways. I don't think if Hitchens falls behind, I don't think he possesses the skill set to beat a Teofimo. So to me,
he doesn't because he's reluctant to come forward.
Exactly, and I think Teofimo can really be on him. And listen, just watch the Paro fight. Watch the early rounds. He was having trouble versus Paro. Teofimo and Paro, two different classes of boxers, man. I'm sorry, they're just too different. You know what I mean? But
no, they clearly are. And Teal has way more athleticism and experience than Paro.
Listen, number one, to me, the most athletic fighter in boxing right now is, if I'm going to name my three, let me name my three. Gervonta Davis, I think is the most athletic. Like, he's a freak of nature. Bam Rodriguez, I think is the other one. I think Bam is ridiculous. And then it's Teofimo. And that's just my opinion. I think these three, they're just different when it comes to angles and footwork and things of that nature. Just pure athleticism. So, to me, I think Teal is one of them guys. I'm a huge Teal fan, but I just think people are underestimating Hitchens. I could be wrong, though. I don't think it's underestimating Hitchens. I think people downplay Teofimo's talent more so than people underestimating Hitchens. I think Hitchens is a good fighter. But there's levels. There's real levels to this, and I think Troy would agree that Teofimo possesses something that you can't teach sometimes. And
that's just the pure raw athleticism.
Yeah, no, facts.
That's what they talk about. You can't teach that. You either got that athleticism or you don't.
Yeah, he. What's funny? He's the most athletic Latino fighter I've seen since Hector Camacho.
No, facts. That's what I always compared his athleticism to Camacho for the fact that, man, when you really watch Camacho, dog, his speed and the way he moved around the ring is unreal.
It was incredible.
You know what I mean? No, facts.
Yeah, can you imagine a disciplined Camacho? Somebody that dog, that's what Teal could become. Like, Camacho was a different breed, bro. Like, you didn't see Camacho. You still haven't seen stuff like that with guys. So,
his speed was unmatched.
Bro, southpaw, flair, like he was a different fighter. And I think Teofimo possesses a lot of what Camacho possessed at that time. So I definitely
you do.
I definitely look forward to seeing what happens with the Reynoso camp. Hey, Troy, I'm going to be on tonight. I'm going to wrap up the show right now. I just want to do a quick show, but I mean, you could just call in, man. It'd be dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I'll call in if we ain't got our power back going from this John, but we could do it. It's good.
Hey, listen.
It just came to my mind at the last minute. Like, I'm tripping. I could just call my nigga.
So, listen, Friday, I got Iceman Scully, and you know what I'm going to talk about. Benavidez versus Better Beef possibly going down.
Oh, yeah. We got to get on that.
Yeah. So this fight, but I'm definitely going to be on tonight, tomorrow morning, because I missed the Monday and Tuesday. And Friday, I'm going to be on, and I'm going to have Iceman Scully. We definitely got to get into this Better Beef versus Benavidez fight. Because I think Benavidez is going to be victorious in the rematch, and that's going to set up.
You
a
said
mega
you think
fight.
better be of these?
Yeah, I think Benavidez is going to be. I mean, from talking to Scully, I just get more confident, just because.
Like, what did Scully say? What did Scully say? Because he really a GOAT trainer for real.
Scully
like,
said, this is what Scully said. He said that what Bivol has to do in order to win this fight, he was very reluctant to do it in the first. And that's
that's what I keep saying to people. You gotta have some type of inside of work ability.
And if
you don't, it's not gonna work, bro. You gotta know how to come forward and do different shit. You just can't get in there and be moving around because the nigga got hard punches.
Yeah, and that's something that he was very reluctant to do in the first fight. And he says if he stands there, he believes that Bivol will be stopped. I'm just saying. Bivol did not want to stand there, bro. He was like, bro, this dude hits hard. And he was in and out. He was out most of the time. So
yeah, that's what I keep telling people. And that's what I'm like, if Benavidez think he could take that shit, he has another thing coming.
Yeah.
It's not sweet like that. Yeah. I be trying to tell people, but no, he gonna go to his body because he old. I said, hey, bro, the man, he went to boxing school, bro. It's different.
Yeah, and he's
like, it's like if you go to school to be a lawyer, like, you know what you're doing. Like, everything you do is according to what you need to do for boxing. He went to a boxing school.
Yeah,
so him being 40 is his prime years.
And people forget he has a really intelligent team around him, bro. This guy doesn't take breaks. And listen, and this is another point I wanted to bring up, but I think people don't bring up. He had trouble when he first went up to 175 against a natural 175-pound fighter. People, remember this. Morrell came up from 168, guys. He's not a natural 175-pound fighter. That's a question that's still got to be answered. He fought somebody that can fight at 168.
Well, let me add one for you.
Yeah.
The man retired Bosdick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Benavidez just beat him up. Like, no, it's a difference. Like, it's a clear difference. So, no, that's really it, for real. Facts.
He said only Father Time can beat Better Be. We're going to see, but he's focused right now, so we're going to see. But, Troy, tonight, man, like 9 o'clock, I should be good, 9 or 10 o'clock. For everybody that wants to tune in, make sure y'all call in. I appreciate the couple hundred people that are on the live. Appreciate y'all. We're going to get it rocking tonight, man. I appreciate y'all. Troy, salute, my brother. We out of here.
You know, you good, champ. Right.
Yeah, that's my boy, Troy. We're going to be on tonight. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We're going to be doing this more frequent. I apologize to the fans. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are my set dates. This week, I'm going to give y'all a show Thursday. And on Friday, I'm going to give y'all one tonight. And then back to the schedule. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays will always be a show around 10 o'clock. And then I'll throw in some extra shows depending on what's going on. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all hit the likes button. Subscribe. You know, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's make this as big as it can get. He said, Morrell hurt Benavidez. Let's see how Benavidez holds up against the better beef power. Pause. Listen, no, man, I'm going to tell you this right now. I want to see if he can get better beef on the back foot. That's going to be the telling thing. If he is not, and that's what he does well. You know what I mean? But we're going to talk about that. We could talk about that shit tonight, matter of fact. We're going to talk about that shit tonight. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. It's your boy Norbs. We out of here.